Hello students. In my last video, we have studied about the leaf. We have studied the parts of the leaf, we studied the types of the leaf, we studied what do you mean by venation. We also studied the different types of leaf. We studied what is phyllotaxy, and then we also studied the modifications of the leaf. Now, today we are continuing with the chapter number 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants, from the unit 2, that is Structural Organization in Organisms. In this, the next part after the leaf is going to be the flower and the inflorescence. So, what is a flower? Flower is going to be nothing but a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes into a floral meristem. Whatever the developing shoot is going to be there, the tip of the stem, that is going to get converted into a flower. So, whatever the internodes are going to be there, they are not going to be elongating and the axis gets condensed. So, hence we can say that the floral appendages are going to be produced instead of the leaves, and hence the formation of the flower is going to be there. Now, coming to what is an inflorescence. So, when we are talking about the inflorescence, inflorescence is going to be nothing but the arrangement of cluster of the flowers is called the inflorescence. So, what is inflorescence? It is nothing but how the flowers are going to be arranged on the floral axis. So, here you can see this is an inflorescence. Here we can see that this is going to be the floral axis and how the different flowers are going to be attached to it. So, this arrangement of the flowers on the floral axis is going to be called as inflorescence. So, based on whether the apex gets converted into a flower or continues to grow, inflorescence are of two types. So, basically, inflorescence are of two types, that is racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. So now coming to the first one, that is the racemose inflorescence. So in the racemose inflorescence, what is happening? Let us see. In this, the main axis continues to grow. As you can see over here, the main axis is going to go continuously. It is growing continuously. It is also known as the indefinite type of inflorescence, because in this type we will not be knowing when the inflorescence will stop giving the flowers. So that is known as a racemose inflorescence. In this type, the flowers are born in an acropetal succession. This word acropetal we have already seen when we were studying the leaf. Acropetal arrangement means the older flowers, the larger flowers are at the base and the younger flowers are continuing to grow at the top. So this type of arrangement is going to be called as acropetal order. So in the racemose inflorescence, they are following the acropetal order. The second one is going to be the cymose inflorescence. In this type, the main axis terminates into a flower. So at the beginning itself, whatever the main axis is going to be there, it will terminate into a flower, and the younger flowers are going to be coming below the older one. Hence, the growth is limited. We know that up one flower is coming, so down two buds are there. So only these many flowers will grow. So this is an definite type of inflorescence you can call. And the flowers that are born in this order are known as the basipetal order. Basipetal means the smaller flowers are going to be at the bottom, the younger, new growing are down, and the older are going to be at the top. So this type of the arrangement is known as the basipetal order. So in the case of racemose inflorescence and in the leaves, they are following the acropetal arrangement. Whereas in the cymose inflorescence, they are in an basipetal order. Now coming to our main part, that is the flower. What is the flower? So the flower is the reproductive unit in the angiosperms. Reproductive unit means the reproduction is taking place here. The male and the female parts are going to be present in this flower, and hence the reproductive unit in the angiosperms is the flower. This is going to be important from the exam point of view. It is the reproductive unit in the angiosperm, that is the flower. And the main function, that is, it is going to be mainly meant for sexual reproduction. This flower is going to be having a stalk. So it is having a stalk to which it is attached. It is going to be swollen, that is, its swollen end, the swollen end of the stalk is going to be called as the thalamus. So on this thalamus, all the other floral parts are going to be growing. So it is having a stalk, and at the end of the stalk, a swollen part is going to be there, which is going to be called as the thalamus. Now here they are going to be present certain reduced leaf-like structures found at the base of the pedicel. So here you can see these are going to be the reduced leaf-like structures, or you can say reduced leaf present at the base of the flower. They are called as bracts. It is not necessary that all the flowers are going to be containing these bracts. Only some flowers are going to be having the bracts. And hence the flowers which have these leaf-like structures at their base are known as bractate. And whereas those which don't have such bracts at their base are known as ebractate. So those who are having these bracts are bractate, whereas those which are not having are ebractate. Now coming to the flower. So a flower has typically 4 kinds of whorls. Whorl is nothing but a bundle. So typically it is having 4 parts. These are going to be attached or arranged on the thalamus, which is the swollen part of the stalk, and they are calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Calyx and corolla are known as accessory organs, whereas androecium and gynoecium are known as the reproductive organs. Accessory organs, why they are called as accessory organs and why these are called as reproductive organs, we will study this in detail when we are studying the parts of the flower in detail. But before that, let us finish the types of the flowers. So here we can see that in some flowers like the lily, or you can take your onion, in these cases you cannot differentiate between the petals and the sepal. Sepal is going to be the green color bundle which is present below the petals. So in some flowers like lily, you cannot differentiate between the calyx and the corolla. Calyx is going to be your green color portion and corolla is the petal. So both will be fused together. So in that case, where the calyx and the corolla, that is the petals and the corolla are fused, is known as perianth. And when a flower is going to be having both androecium and gynoecium, it is called bisexual. So androecium is the male sexual part, whereas gynoecium is going to be the female part. So when male and female both are present in the flower, on the same flower, it is known as bisexual. Whereas a flower which is having only androecium or only gynoecium is known as an unisexual flower. So see here how what all you have studied. First of all, you studied that the flowers which with the bract are known as bractate, and without the bract they are known as ebractate. Here you are studying when the calyx and corolla are not distinct, when they are fused, they are forming perianth. Then those flowers in which both androecium and gynoecium are there, they are bisexual flowers. Whereas wherein only one male and female, either androecium or only gynoecium is present, they are known as unisexual flowers. Now, coming to the types of the flowers based on the symmetry of the flowers. So, symmetry means how you can cut a flower into equal parts. So, based upon that, there are three types of flowers: actinomorphic, zygomorphic, and asymmetrical flowers. So, actinomorphic flowers. So, what are these actinomorphic flowers? So, actinomorphic flowers are those which are having the radial symmetry. That is, here a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center. So here you can see in this diagram, in whichever portion you are cutting, you cut it like this, or you cut it like this, or you cut it like this. In any way you are cutting the flower, it is going to be giving you equal halves, equal to halves. Even if you are cutting in this manner, this is equal to this. Even if you are cutting in this manner, this is equal to this. So in this manner, if you cutting the flower in any way passing through the center, it is going to be giving you the same two parts. So this type of the symmetry is known as actinomorphic. You can observe these type of flowers in mustard. Mustard is nothing but your mohri, then datura and chili. Then coming to the second type, here it is the zygomorphic flower. So zygomorphic flower means nothing but that which is having the bilateral symmetry. Bi means two. Lateral means two. So divided into two equal halves laterally. So you can divide the flower only into two similar halves only in a very particular plane, only in a single plane. So you can observe this pea plant flower. Here you can cut the flower only in one symmetry so that you will get two equal halves. If I am cutting it like this, it will not give me equal flower. So you can cut the flower only in one way so that it is giving me two equal halves. This type of flower is going to be called as a zygomorphic flower. Examples of the zygomorphic flower are pea, gulmohar, bean and cassia. Now, coming to the third type of the flower, that is going to be the actinomorphic flower. So what is an asymmetric flower? So third type is the asymmetric flower. Here the flower cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane passing through the center. So you cannot cut these type of flowers into equal halves in any direction. So this type of the flowers are known as the asymmetric flowers. Example is going to be the kenna. So these flowers you cannot get equal halves in any direction. Irregular petals are going to be there. So they are known as asymmetric flowers. Now coming to the types of the flowers based upon the number of floral appendages. Floral appendages are nothing but the floral parts, that is mainly your petals and sepals. So based on the petals and the sepals, that is your green color part below the petals and the petals, flowers are going to be mainly of three types. First is the trimerous flower. Trimerous flowers means the petals and the sepals are in the multiples of 3. So as you can see here, they are 3 or in the multiples of 3. That is 3, 6, 9. These number of petals are there. The second is the tetramerous flower. So tetramerous flower means floral appendages are in the multiple of 4. So they can be like 4, 8, 12. So that are known as tetramerous flowers. Pentamerous. So here the floral appendages are in the multiples of 5, as you can see over here. So in this way, the flowers based upon their floral appendages, they can be trimerous, tetramerous and pentamerous. Now coming to the last type of the flower is going to be based upon the position of the calyx and corolla and the androecium in respect to the ovary on thalamus. So here we are going to be studying the arrangement of the calyx, that is your petal, then your sepal and the androecium, that is the green color part, with respect to your ovary. Ovary is nothing but the part of the gynoecium, that is the female part. So how they are attached on the thalamus, that will give us 3 types of flowers: hypogynous flower, perigynous flower and epigynous flower. Let us see one by one. So what is this hypogynous flower? So in the hypogynous flower, here the gynoecium is occupying the highest position, the top position, whereas all the other parts are present below it. So here you can see that the gynoecium is up, the ovary is up, whereas this is the androecium, these are the petals, the sepals, all are going to be below the ovary, that is the gynoecium. So this type of the ovary is known as the superior ovary. And this type of a flower wherein the ovary is superior is known as a hypogynous flower. This type of the flowers you can see in plants like mustard, China rose and brinjal. The second type is going to be a perigynous flower. So your gynoecium is situated in center and other parts of the flower are located at the rim of the thalamus, almost on the same level. So they are going to be present at the same level with the ovary. All are going to be at the same level, as you can see over here. Here is the ovary, here with that only you can see the androecium is there, petal is there, sepal is there. So all on the same track. So this type of the ovary is known as the half inferior ovary, and this type of a flower is known as a perigynous flower. Example of the perigynous flower is the plum, rose and peach flowers. You can see that they are having the perigynous type. Coming to the third one, that is the epigynous flower. So epigynous in this we can see that the ovary is going to be inferior. So here the margin of thalamus grows upwards, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. So in the thalamus itself, the ovary is getting fused within the thalamus, and above that you can have your androecium, then your calyx and the corolla. So in this way, wherever the ovary is going to be below in the thalamus and all the other parts of the flower are arising above the ovary, it is called as an inferior ovary. And this type of a flower is called as an epigynous flower. These type of the flowers you can find in examples like guava, cucumber, ray florets and sunflower. All these plants are having the epigynous flower, wherein the ovary is fused within the thalamus and all the other parts are going to be above the thalamus, that is above the ovary, that is epigynous flower. So with this we complete your types of the flowers. Based on presence of bract we studied, then number of the floral appendages, then we saw what are going to be the types based upon the this one your ovary position, and we also saw what are going to be the types of the flowers based upon how we can cut it, that is based upon the symmetry. So this is all about the types of the flowers. So you can observe how they are different types of flowers. They are asymmetrical flowers, they are actinomorphic, zygomorphic, epigynous flowers, perigynous flowers, bractate, ebractate. So these are the different criterias on which the flowers have been classified. So this is all about the types of flowers. In the next video, we will be studying in detail the parts of the flowers. We will see what is this calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium.